Parker and I are reviewing this, a Ruehle F97. And this thing is really cool because it's essentially a reverse Restomod. There's a lot of companies that take older 911s and modernize them, but this one here underneath is a 997, which brings some pretty cool benefits.
The 997 3RS is my favorite modern era to drive Porsche. It's so engaging, hydraulic steering. They only came with a manual transmission. Unfortunately, the 4.0s, especially for PTS ones, are $2+ million these days. It actually only starts at $399,000, which
That's
today's day and age,
money.
okay, obviously a lot of money, but some of these Restomods are millions and millions of dollars, and you've got to wait 6 months. So to have a new company come out, offer it at a much more competitive price point, and you can get one pretty much immediately is really cool.
Actually, some of those, you're waiting way more than 6 months.
Yeah,
buy a Singer or something, you're
no, 100%.
1-2 years plus, right? Some other cool options, because you get to pick your 997 donor car, you can either do manual transmission or PDK. There's multiple engine options too, because if you bring a Carrera S, right, it may have the 3.8. You can do 3.6, 3.8, or this one has a bored out 4.1 liter flat six. So 425 horsepower, 6-speed manual, rear wheel drive, curb weight 2850. This should be quite a bit of fun
100%.
to drive.
And they'll even do up to a 4.3 if you're crazy and want to do it, which I would like. Also, KWV3 suspension, optional carbon ceramic brakes. So they've really brought all of these modern creature comforts into an even lighter weight version of an already fantastic to drive car. So I'm excited to see what this thing is like.
It may look like a 1973 RSR, but it's sort of a 997, sort of not. We're gonna take it for a drive and see what it's like. But first, let's get up close and I'll take you on a tour and show you some of the details. Parker and Ehrenstein for scale. This is Iris Blue Metallic. And another really cool thing when you commission a vehicle like this is you get to customize your paint, your interior details, and there's some really cool details. I love these brushed bronze finishes around the headlights, like all these little accent touches. That's a gas cap right there, right? And you see that brushed bronze finish.
There's some cool little details on the rear end as well. You're talking about the bronze. I just love the rear end of this car in general. Ducktail spoiler. It's made in fiberglass. The original ones were as well. The rest of the body is steel. This just looks so nice. And the exhaust note and the induction noise this car makes is absolutely insane. So let me go ahead and pop, I would say the hood, but it's the rear.
The rear, the trunk.
The heart of the 911. This is based on the 997.1. The customer ones will be the .2 because this is the test mule. So for those extreme Porsche enthusiasts, they probably would recognize some of the differences, but it's a small looking engine. But this thing makes some serious power and it sounds so intoxicating.
Good. You know what I love? Older Porsches, you can still see an engine. You know, like you open the engine compartment on a 992 and it looks like an NVIDIA GPU. It's just like two fans, right?
I wish it looked like an NVIDIA GPU. It's
be
worse
worth
than
more money.
Yeah, exactly. No, you get like a coolant reservoir and that's about it.
You can see all the mechanicals here. I also love the silhouette from the back. You see the widened fender flares coming out, really nice and aggressive with the wheels tucked underneath. We've got KW3 suspension, which actually rides really well. We already took this thing for a drive. And the interior now. So interior is where you see a lot of 997 touches, right? That's a benefit because you get modern creature comforts, conveniences, and things like that. Oh, the window switches.
Yeah, so check this out. Originally, I thought it was cool that it had manual roll down windows. But in fact, while they look like that, and they're these nice machined pieces of metal, if you pull it down, it's actually an automatic window with the shape of a manual roll-up window.
That is a really cool touch.
And then the seats are 997 seats with these cool plaid inserts. You can do kind of whatever seat you want. Eddie mentioned this in the video I did with him. It's kind of like PTS everything. It's not just the color, it's basically PTS the whole car.
Yeah. You can't get special wishes on a 3RS, get one of these. The shifter is one of the absolute highlights. We'll talk about it more when we're driving, but right now just appreciating that mechanical linkage, that is so cool. And you see like 997 touches, Sport Chrono, but then we have 5 individual gauges that are the older style, and there's an interface to make them work with the 997's electronics. So you've got analog little needles on everything right there. Of course, we've got ignition on the left, Porsche thing, little Momo steering wheel. But I think let's go for a drive.
Yeah, 100%.
Talk about this thing on the road.
I'm excited.
All right, this is a blast from the past.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels weird. Feels weird, but feels good.
Key in, clutch in, starts up.
Put these windows up.
The window switches are so cool, and it's all like anodized. Yeah, how they bill it, and then I think that looks like it's just anodized black, not powder coated. Couple revs. Oh,
that sounds good.
4.1 liter naturally aspirated flat six. Yeah, because what's an RS 4.0 from 997 now? Even a non-PTS, what, million?
A million plus, yeah.
All right.
And you got 0.1 more liters than this.
Exactly.
That noise.
Oh my gosh. And the shifter. I think this shifter might be my favorite part of the car.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It's a numeric shifter, and like you get such a satisfying mechanical
100%.
engagement. It's short throw, it's super close, and like you get comfortable immediately.
The sound is incredible.
It is.
It really feels like the engine is bolted to the back of your brain, and the induction noise is just so throaty and satisfying.
It reminds me of the GT4 RS because, well, that turned the entire cabin into a resonance chamber.
Yeah.
But not the same tone, because the newer Porsche flat sixes are really like hard edge, high pitched, but it's that feeling of the engine literally being on your spine. Now, in terms of the handling dynamics, you can feel it's more nimble due to the shortened wheelbase. I like you described it as rear steer, 997 rear steer.
Yeah, it feels like a 997 with rear axle steering, which is doesn't exist, and it would be a cool thing to exist.
Yeah, it's nimble. It feels compact. Visibility is phenomenal. You got the huge greenhouse, and I feel like I can reach out and touch the edges of the car, like the headlights, the bulges right there on the fenders, right, positioning it. Steering is a little bit on a slightly lazier side, right? It's communicative, but it doesn't quite have that immediacy of turn-in.
It just, the first initial bite is missing that responsiveness, but once you're past that, the weight of it and the predictability of the steering is fantastic with the hydraulic steering.
Yeah. I got comfortable pretty much immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
First 2-3 turns, 100%. I'm like, oh, right? And we're not pushing it like crazy up here in the canyons. The roads aren't the greatest surface, but these KW, the suspension setup,
it's nice.
Pretty compliant. And
I think it's a car that you can have a lot of fun, driving right now at 4/10.
Yes.
Because it's raw and mechanical, you're having a blast no matter what speed you're going. Versus the 992 3RS, until you're in the 8/10 plus category, it feels almost too refined.
Yeah.
But then obviously, this has some crazy sticky track tires on it, good suspension, a good amount of power and gearbox, so you can push it very hard, and it's rewarding in its own right.
This thing will probably be a lot of fun to try out on track.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%.
The shortened wheelbase and the dimensions, man, it's so refreshing to get an older 911. I used to always be like, yeah, okay, 911s are bigger and bigger. Well, everything's bigger and bigger. And then I went from driving a 993 to a 992.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, a 992 feels
really
like
is
a
big
monster
difference.
truck. Yeah. It was absolutely enormous. We've been using this little driveway here as a turnaround point, and you get to test out the turning radius.
What's nice is most modern cars that I review here, and I do this turnaround a lot, I have to do a 3-point turn.
Not this.
So this does it really, really well, which is impressive. That's so good.
That 4.1 bored out NA. Oh, planted. Dude, I love this thing.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun.
So I posed the question to Parker earlier in his video. So this is 400 grand, and then you tack on a donor car, some other things, probably options if you want to customize it special, but call it $450,000 to $500,000.
Yeah.
Would you rather have this or a 992 3RS? And then you cheated and you went off and said what?
Yeah, so I said neither, and let me explain why. I said a 997 3RS, a 3.8 liter, because you can get one for about that. Now, it's like a multifaceted answer because part of it is it's one of the best driving cars ever.
Yes.
I know that because the 4 liters and the PTS cars are millions of dollars, that car is going to trail behind it and go up in value. It's a safe investment. And it's all factory. So I would do that from like an overall standpoint, but if I had 10 cars or 20 cars and was looking for something fun to add, this is definitely more interesting and more fun than a new 992 3RS.
I view it as, I'm starting to gravitate towards experience cars.
Yeah, I agree.
Because new stuff, yeah, fast is easy. EVs make stuff fast. I mean, the new Turbo S is ballistic. Like, it's insanity. So, like, I want experience. For example, like, I want a 350R again. Is a GT500 faster? 100%. Is a new Dark Horse SC faster? Yeah, but I miss that flat plane crank manual. And this is what really speaks to me, right? Like, are there faster cars on the track for the money? Heck yeah. Are there going to be faster cars in the Canyon? Yeah. But the experience, the whole persona of getting to commission a car fully custom, the retro look with the modern creature comforts, is a nice blend. You've driven Gunther Works. You've been around the Gunther Works, right? That's like rocket ship insane engineering. That's next level, right? But it's also double the price. The Gunther Works Turbo is double the price of this thing.
That thing is gnarly. I've only driven the Mule car, so it was even more raw. It was tuned up higher than customer cars, and it was terrifying in the best way possible. But it kind of a different type of experience.
Very different
that one is gnarly. It's so intense. This is a car that you could have a blast in the canyons. You could take your wife or let your wife drive it and go out to Cars and Coffee and have a nice brunch in Malibu. You could take it to the track as well, and it kind of does everything. And unlike a new modern Porsche, I do think if you showed up in something like this to a Cars and Coffee, everyone's going to be looking at it.
They're curious.
Especially in LA, there's so many new 3RSs.
Exactly. This is just, it's unique. It's got a more interesting story to it, right? Marrying a 997, which ultimately is still a modern Porsche platform, right? It's water cooled. You get creature comfort. You can get PASM in this thing. It's got functioning air conditioning. It's got the Sport Chrono thing, right? But then the looks. It's got the flared fenders, and when you see it on the road, you're like, oh, it's an older Porsche. Until you look underneath the skin, you're like, wait, no, there's more to it. And I'm really curious to see the value and how well they do. I hope they do well, because this is a really, really cool experience, and this is like the early prototype demo test car, right?
100%.
They put this thing together in 10 weeks.
Yeah, I don't even understand how that's possible.
10 weeks, and that requires, okay, you strip down the 997, essentially to the frame and the motor, and then you've got this new 1973 Carrera RSR F-Series body. You stick it on it, then you gotta do paint, interior, like electronics. That's crazy cool.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 10 weeks for like Tesla to service your seatbelt light. Let alone build a whole car.
So the values would be interesting because those other Restomod Porsches, I mean, the values are crazy high, wait lists are crazy long. So this is a really, really interesting, unique addition to the world of Restomod vehicles.
100%.
You want to take it for a spin?
I'll take it for a spin.
Pull over and we'll swap. Yeah, creature comforts from 997. We've got power seats. We've got the whole climate control panel right here. Doggos.
Yeah.
You know how embarrassing it would be if you stalled it?
Pretty embarrassing.
It's actually Parker's first time driving manual.
The irony, because I 12 years ago taught you how to drive.
You didn't actually. I already knew. We were pretending for that video.
No, we would never do that, Eddie. We would never do that. You didn't know how.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, that noise.
Like all these people filming.
Yeah.
Oh, that just sounds so good. The shift linkage actually is phenomenal.
Amazing. You hear like the mechanical. Like, I think I might like this more than a gated manual shifter.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. Yeah, the noise is intoxicating. The suspension is a lot more compliant than expected, so it rides very nicely.
But it controls.
Doesn't have any body roll. That is so good.
So one of the first questions we had was, well, can you do this with a 997 turbo? They said they're working on it, but there's other considerations of airflow and everything cooling, right, once you go boosted.
Yeah, because we were thinking if they can do it on the wide body for the Targa or the 4S, why couldn't they do it for the turbo? And then we forgot the turbo has two giant air intakes in the sides, which would be interesting actually to retrofit an old school looking intake on the sides of the wide body of the RSR. But it's a very easy car to drive, as Eddie said. Yeah. And it's just confidence inspiring, which is difficult when you piece together multiple cars. Just goes to show their engineering is well done.
Yeah. So these are built in Germany. send the donor car over to Germany, they do everything, and then it gets sent back to you, which is pretty cool.
Such good visibility out over the hood.
Yeah.
Like it's such an easy car to place on the road. You feel like you're sitting on the front axle almost. It's almost like being in a little go-kart. But then, despite its proportions on the outside, on the inside, we've got so much room. It's like really open and airy. It doesn't feel claustrophobic. And it makes you wonder, some of these modern cars that have these tiny little claustrophobic cabins, like how are they able to do this back then?
Like my Z06 is so cramped inside compared to this, right? Like it's just much more open feeling.
Oh man, this is impressive. I didn't know what to expect, you know? Some of these companies reach out and they're like, hey, would you like to review our car? And obviously the thought process behind it, combining the 997 and the F-body, sounds really cool, but is it going to come together in a really nice to drive package?
How's the execution?
And I think the execution's fantastic.
Yeah, I ran into this car at a Cars and Coffee. I went down to, I think it was Huntington Beach. I was on one of my trips out here and I went down and it was in the parking lot and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. And then they had the engine compartment popped and learned more about it. I was like, whoa, that sounds really, really cool. And I asked one of the guys, I was like, hey, could I drive it at some point? He goes, absolutely.
Yeah, this thing is good.
It feels so compact.
Yeah. And this road isn't the smoothest either, and it's just kind of eating the bumps, which some of the newer Porsches, like I took a 991 2RS up here, and it rides so firm, it almost bounces off the road because it's meant for a smooth racetrack.
Yep.
But this, it's got the limited body roll, and it's eating the bumps at the same time. And it's got the, it's got a power level that just feels right for this car. I mean, I'm a bit of a horsepower freak, so I wouldn't mind more horsepower, but it feels like you can really wring the car out and experience closer to the limits. Whereas, you know, if it had 800 horsepower...
Yeah, dude, at the top of second gear, you're like, oh, let's go to jail speed, right?
Yeah, versus this, you can wring it out through the gears without going criminally fast and without...
low curb weight. Cool. This is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Check out Ruehle, R-U-E-H-L-E, right?
Yeah, that's right, I think.
That spelling? Yes. F97.
Yeah, we know how to do math,
yeah,
not spell.
we're former engineers. We can do math. We can't do English.
Yeah, so the 97 part's for sure right. I can remember numbers. I don't know how to spell my own name.
A 997 made to look like a retro Porsche and a seriously fun experience. If you're buying one of these, go for the stroker motor. It's 25 grand,
100%.
but 4.1 liters of NA Porsche flat six. Good combo. Thank you, Parker, for making a cameo in this review.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching.